just gonna have to go for it, rip them off. I can't get in there to cut them. Don't do this. There she is. Let's bring her around, get started on this thing. Nice hole in the floor there. Hey, so welcome back. Behind me here is my 1966 Volkswagen Beetle that I bought 3 years ago. If you've watched my other videos on the channel about this Beetle, the last one I uploaded was 3 years ago. So I just went back and looked at it myself, and a lot's happened since I bought the Bug. That was in February of 2020 I bought this. The following week, the pandemic exploded in March of 2020. So I've thought about selling it. I had a couple guys interested in it, but I don't want to give up on it. It's a good car. You can see it runs great. If you saw the last video, you saw this. It needs floor pans and heater channels. So I'm finally at a point where I have time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a honey-do list that'll sink a battleship for the house. But we're having a winter here in 2022, 2023 that's like, it's 50 degrees today. It's the, 1st of February or whatever, right around there. So it's crazy. So all the projects that I've been kind of thinking I'd do in the warmer weather, I mean, who wants to be locked inside when it's 50 degrees out in the middle of winter in New England? Not me. So bottom line, I'm going to get started on the Bug. Now, let me take you guys around and I'll reacquaint you with the car. Okay, so one thing that's new since the last time you've seen it is this. I bought this roof rack at a Volkswagen show for, I don't know, 250 bucks. I had to have it. I mean, picture that with a surfboard or a cooler on the roof, cruising to the beach. What's better than that? If you watched the last video, you know I talked about the motor. It's got a 1300. That motor was rebuilt and installed a year before I bought the car. The previous owner handed me a receipt for almost $5,400 that he paid a shop to put that motor in, and I handed him not even close to that for the car. So the motor's new, the clutch is new. Whoops, I literally dropped a nut. I hate it when that happens. Dropped the bolt too, but don't know where, somewhere else. So yeah, the motor's new, the clutch is new, the exhaust is new. The brakes are fine, as far as I can tell. The body's been repainted. And it's the paint's starting to bubble. If you see it, the camera will pick that one up. Right here. That's a bubble. Along the gutter is chipping a bit, but I'm going to leave it. 66, the last year with Porsche headlights. And 67 was the last year of the towel bar or overrider bumpers. I think those are very cool. The running boards are in good shape. The glass is all in good shape. There's no cracks in the glass. There's not even a nick in the windshield. It must have been replaced. You can see it was registered when I bought it, 2020 in New York. Again, that's 3 years ago. Does not have pop-out windows. You can see the overspray, the paint here. This gutter is a little worse even. But again, I don't care about that. The rear window does leak, and the problem with that, you can see there's a hole right there. I've got to patch that. I'm going to take this window out, and I have a new rubber. You can see it's all cracked and dry. It's the original. So what happened was water got in the car, and it caused some pretty good rust in the back. On the last video I tore the interior out 3 years ago, and well, let me go to the other side, because I'll take that seat out and I'll show you just how bad it got back here. This piece here is the, for it goes under the rear seat, divider I guess you'd call it. Let me put you guys down and I'll take this out. Okay, so I got the passenger seat and the rear seat torn out. You can see they're in pretty good shape. The rear seat has this little deal right here. Not going to worry about that. That's original interior, I believe. Maybe it was redone, but it was redone with good stuff. This pattern is what came with the Bug. The front door cards are good enough. Clean them up a little. I mean, they're a little weird here. I'm going to leave them. But here's the carnage. This is bad right here. This were in the back, the end of the heater channel. I think they're called heater channel caps. I've got new pieces that go from about here all the way over to here. So all that's going to come out. The heater channels are going to come out. All the floor pan is going to come out. Same for the other side. It's not as bad over there, but it's not good. So heater channels, floor pans, heater channel end caps. I did just put a new 6-volt battery in it, because again, this, after I got it, I didn't start it for about, once I started building the house, I didn't start this car for a year. It kind of got put out back in my shop here under an overhang, so it didn't get rained on, but I didn't start it regularly. So about a month ago I filed the points, threw some fresh gas in, put a new 6-volt in there, and it cranked about 4 times and started right up. So here you can see. She's a runner, and I'm more of a sheet metal guy than a mechanic, engine guy. So this is an ideal candidate for me. Got the Volkswagen sound. So the plan is we're going to take the body off the chassis, and there's many ways to do that. You use a chain fall, you can use a cherry picker, you can use a bunch of friends and lift it onto sawhorses. I happen to own a Kubota tractor with forks, so what I'm going to do is wrap a tow strap around the front bumper brackets and another one around the rear bumper brackets. Put a stick between them, a 4x4, 6x6, whatever I have laying around, between those, and then just lift up with the bucket. But before I do that, I got to undo all the bolts. And good news is there won't be a lot of pan bolts in that heater channel because it's totally rotted. So that's the plan. I'll link to the other videos I have about this Beetle in the description, maybe right here on the screen. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. So let's get started on removing the body. What do you say? So here's the parts I got. Here's the heater channels. Bring these over here. They're from Wolfsburg West. They're good quality. Heater channels. Here's the floor pan. Again, Wolfsburg West. Nice thick, good quality stuff. This is the passenger side. And I was checking to see down here. Holes in there. So that's there. This is the jack point right here. It'll be outside the car. Under here. Right here is the whole jack point. And that hole I showed you is this hole right here for the battery cable. So it comes all the way up to here. So it'll get all this junk out of here. Alright, let's get started. Alright. First step, anytime I'm removing old bolts, and I assume these bolts haven't been out since they were put in 1966, is I like to wire brush them down. so that my socket will fit on there. And then this is the best Croyle. This can is 30 bucks, so I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what this stuff does. So the 6 there, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 1 there, 1 there. That's 6. Then there's, oops, sorry, hit you guys in the head. There's 1 on either side of the tire there, so I got to jack the car up, take the tires off, and get those 2 bolts. I'm going to empty out the hood trunk. Yeah, I got all the parts and pieces that I took out of the car in there, because there's 2 bolts under the gas tank. You got to take the gas tank out, which is underneath all this stuff, and then there's 2 body bolts. Anyway, all this junk's got to go. I'll put it up. I'll show you my loft I built in the shop up here. But right now, I'll just put it all on the table saw. And the plan is, I'm going to lift the body off, and I'm going to roll the chassis. I'm going to move the table saw. That's on wheels. And then that's the lift I bought. I noticed in one of the previous videos from 3 years ago, I said I wanted to buy a lift. Well, I ended up finding this lift on Marketplace. So I'll move this lift back, and I'll roll the chassis onto the lift, and then I'll be able to lift that up so that I have a good working height when I'm working on the floor pans. And then the body is going to stay outside, just set up on sawhorses, and I'll do that work out here. I'll cover it up, and I'll do that work out here. So let's speed this up, and we'll empty this out. These are those pieces that go inside for the heater channel end caps. All right, let me take the spare tire out. This is an area that usually rusts pretty good, and mine is pretty clean. I will treat that with a rust cutter, rust, encapsulator, rust something or other. Paint all that up. It doesn't look like this car was ever hit or welded on the front. Got the body tag here that matches the one, the VIN matches the one on the tunnel in the back. It's got the cover, the wire cover, it's got the protective cover for the gas tank, so it's in pretty good shape under here. Let me show you. This is always missing. It's a piece of cardboard that's, 58 years old. Like there was a couple curgers in here. These just fold up like this. And these over here fold up. I don't know, you kind of gotta pull it out and fold it up at the same time. Get all that junk off of there. I don't know if that has any writing on it anywhere. Nope. But we're going to be careful with that because we want to put that back in. You see, this even has the glove box intact. As I said, under there, there's 2 body bolts, and there's a bunch of stuff I got to disconnect. So, if we take the tank out, it means we're disabling the car. So, it's a moment of truth here. We're doing this. We're really doing this. Let's do the ones in the back first. I got to get this all sorted out and organized, and it's all stuff left over from projects, house projects, electrical stuff, plumbing, hangers. I got joist hangers. This is all kinds of paper and tar paper and plastics, and my old chainsaws up here. You know, these are, I don't know, I guess I didn't use these putting the roof on the barn. I got stuff, man. All right, let's get back to the bug. And you can see I had this spray foamed. They had this roof spray foamed. And all the walls are insulated. I still got to insulate the front. And then it'll be, again, it hasn't been cold this winter, so it's not been a top priority. I'm going to cut the pan back here and just let that part stay with the chassis. Instead of trying to get bolts out of under there, I'll do that when the chassis is free and I can easily lift it. The bolts are going to be in here. I'm just going to cut the heater channels out of the car, so the bolts are going to go away with it, and I've got all new bolts and washers. So make it easy on ourselves, just cut the pan right down here. Get those 6 out. Hopefully we'll get these 4 under here out and they won't break. The 2 in the back are free already. The ones on the sides are free. I guess it's time to take the tank out and try to get those out underneath and all that stuff disconnected. So we spray these. I don't think they need it, but it ain't gonna hurt. Look, there's not even any rust on these. All right, 13 millimeter. Let's see. Yeah. Geez, that one was like finger tight. Yeah, let's pop it off. That's what I kind of thought. That comes up and that comes out. There we go. There it is. Got some fuel in it. Should take out soon. Now we gotta get these, get those sprayed down, especially for a project like this. I love PB Blaster, but the Croyle is ridiculously good. All right, I gotta undo the steering column. These 2 bolts gotta come out. All right, I got a little bit more done for the day. Let me just show you what I did. So for these brake lines, these look fairly good to me, these flexible lines, so I try to save them. These were fairly rusted, so I cut them. These go in here like that. So you really need that joint right there to move freely, and it was giving me some resistance, and I looked at the rust on the line and I just said, let's just sacrifice this one and that one and keep the good looking flexible line. So those are free. I got these 2 out. I got the steering column off. The only thing I have left in the front here is I gotta figure out how to take the speedometer cable off the front wheel. I'll do a little research on that tonight. And then I've got the clutch cable and the accelerator cable in the back end. I assume the flexible brake lines in the back end, and then I think it's ready to come off. So next time you hear from me will be a different day. So I'm gonna clean up my tools and put the parts away, drain the gas out of that tank, and call it a night. Alright, so I got the car on the lift. We're going to get it up in the air. The only thing I have left to get undone before I can lift the body off is the stuff that's up underneath, which is the flexible brake lines for the rear brakes, the fuel line, the heat tubes, and the clutch cable. So I'm going to get all that from up underneath the car, so I thought I'd get it in here on the lift. So let's see how it goes. First time ever lifting a car on this, so. It's doing the thing. Pretty cool, right? That's about 6 inches away from that beam. Get some welding action. So all I did was I went from the wheel well to the A-pillar on both sides, and then I went between them, and I got right up. I pulled back this trim piece, whatever you call this. It's the B-pillar. This is the B-pillar. You know, it's part of the headliner material. I pulled that back, pulled these clips back that hold that on, so that I could, and I cut this on an angle. I cut this on an angle so that I could, how about some light? There you go. So that I could still close the door with the bracing in the car. So I went here and on the other side, and then I welded this piece to this piece and that piece. So I checked my welds, I banged on them with a hammer. They're not pretty, but they'll work. I figured out the settings on the welder as I went, so we should be good going forward. I've done some welding. I'm certainly not. My son is a professional welder, so if he's seeing this, he's laughing his head off right now. But so be it, right? All right, next we're going to lift the body off. That'll be the next thing we do. I'm so excited. Well, as I suspected, my son came over the other night and took one look at my welds, and his exact words were, "Dad, what the hell are you doing?" Gave me a little welding lesson. It was the first time my son gave me a lesson, so that was interesting. But you know, he's 26 now and he's a father himself, so I guess he's qualified to give lessons even to his old man. So I decided I'm going to weld one more support in here in the front. That'll box the whole thing in. You know, better safe than sorry, I guess. So I got those all cleaned up, and I'm going to zap them in now that I know how to weld, thanks to my son. All right, let's see if we can get her out of here. Here she comes. I think. Come out into the sunshine. All right, let's get that body off. What do you say? All right, I think we're there. I'm just worried about these straps slipping right here. But why would they? All right, let's give it a go. Okay, here's where we're at. I forgot to disconnect the brake pedal switch. Got that done. The starter wire is still on there. Big thing was I forgot to I never cut the floor pan away from the heater channel. You probably saw on this side, they all just pulled out. But on the other side, they're still holding on a bit, so I gotta get those done. How the hell am I gonna do that? I'm gonna have to go down a little. I'm just gonna have to go for it, rip them off. I can't get in there to cut them. Don't do this. That's a problem. This is not going as well as I would have liked. Now, when you guys just roll that chassis out for me? I realize I'm putting in a junk, but the whole car is junk, so I need one more for the back. Now it's sitting on those dodgy bumper brackets that I didn't want to lift from. Alright, it's a little sketchy, but it's off. I mean, I was going to put a strap around that back bumper bracket, but when I looked in here, right here, I was thinking that probably wasn't a great idea, but now it's sitting on the bumper. It probably would have been fine, but so I thought that would work, but it's clearly too heavy in the back, so that's why I had to scramble a little bit. Let me get the chassis pushed back in the shop. We'll take a closer look at it. Well, that didn't go as well as I would have liked, that's for sure. I can't believe I forgot to cut that floor pan away from the body. But overall, you know, nobody got hurt. Bug didn't get hurt. Let's take a look at just how bad it is. Of course, the battery tray, start on this side. The battery tray is shot as usual. Again, doesn't matter, pan's coming out. You know, this is all coming out. I'm worried about this right here. This is fine. I'm not worried about it. It's in good shape. The front, they call that Napoleon's hat. That's fine. All this is gone. I don't see any damage to the tunnel anywhere. Again, all this will be gone, coming out. Still some spray foam. All that will be gone. Get a good look at the transaxle and the motor. Again, the motor's been rebuilt. It's in pretty good shape. It's a cap for the jack point. This is bent when I ripped it off. Again, Napoleon's hat's okay. So the chassis just be a cleanup. You know, I'll scrape it off as best I can, clean it, wire brush it, wire wheel it, whatever. Paint it, put the new brake lines on. You know, it turns out I didn't need to cut these. What was I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. I was thinking the brakes come with the body. They don't. That doesn't need to be cut, but just as well, replace the lines. I mean, you can get a whole new set of brake lines for the whole car for $38, so no time to do it like now, whenever the body's off, so I'll put new brake lines. The fuel line was replaced when the motor was put in, so that's only a year old, so no sense in that. But it's a great chance to figure out the heater boxes, how they work, and get some new cables so I can actually get the heat working. Because we plan to drive this thing, drive it. We're not going to baby this car. Yeah, it's down here. You see that? There's the boots look good. I don't know if they were replaced. Those usually wear. They look good. So yeah, we'll clean that up, paint it, put the new pans, heater channels in, all this. Now let's check out the body. Start right here. Usual rust right here. That's a piece of aluminum flashing or something somebody put in there with rivets. But the amount of crud on here, it's roofing tar. Good Lord, I can't really open the doors because it's, well, I guess I could take that one off and show you, but yeah, let me get that strap off. Showed you this back here, why I didn't want to lift it. That's all got to be ripped. This whole piece right here. See, that's the point, the mounting point that I told you earlier was all rotted out. That one's, those bolts stayed right in the chassis. This one's completely not even there. It was up here, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, and that's where the shock goes. So it's gone completely. Let's check out the chassis. See what. Yeah, this piece of it's still on the chassis right here. That's supposed to be in the body, and there's the bolt. So hopefully those come out. See the other one over there? Let me get that strap off, and then I can open the doors and show you the inside. It's not good. All right, let's see if the door's still open. Oh yeah. All right, now you can get in there and you can really see. Yeah, up underneath there. How bad that really is. Remember, all that was full of spray foam over there, over in there. And then back here, I don't know if these pieces are going to be enough. I think you can get this whole piece and weld it right in there. But we'll see, maybe those will be enough along with some patches. So back of wheel wells where the real damage is. You can see right in here all that they make this piece right here. So I got those coming, and we'll replace that whole situation. I'll have to set the body back down on the chassis to make sure that that mounts in the right place. Look at that. Look at that spray foam in the heater channel. Yeah, that's not supposed to be there. Oh look, there's even some down on the floor. Boy, they really had a lot of spray foam here. Another big hunk right here. Maybe we should call this the spray foam beetle. I don't want to hurt myself. That's an impressive hunk of spray foam. Let's go check the other side. Seeing this, but yeah, that's bad. That's fiberglass. That's not structural, people. See, it's rusted all behind the bracket, so it's nothing really holding that bumper bracket up. This is gone, so we'll replace this whole thing. And that's that piece, that cap on the inside. What, no spray foam over here? Oh, they must have run out. Yeah. Gonna be a scrap run, cutting all the crap out of this. Yeah, you can see that now. That's all Bondo that cracked. So I'm gonna do that quarter right there. I don't know how far I'm gonna go. You know, I just want a good solid driver, good floors, good heater channels. You know, it's got a good motor. Like I said, mechanically it's great. I just got to make the thing solid, give it a few more years of life. So I'm going to wrap this one up right here. Thanks for watching this video. And the next one, I'm sure, will be probably working on the chassis. I want to get the chassis done and get the pans in and all that and get it painted so I can come out here, look at the chassis, feel good about it, and I have to tackle that body because that's going to be quite a bit of work. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time from White Pine Woods. So long.